Don't
We're
come
live.
my mouth full of chocolate.
We're live. I'm so sorry we're late. That was entirely my fault. I muffed it up nothing short of miraculously. So we are slightly late, but here we are. We're just waiting for one more lady to join us. I think Karen is on the way. I'm going to get the chat up on my phone so I can see if anybody's here. So if it looks like you've got two conversations going on, that's why. Oh my God. Here we go. Let's see if I'm subscribed to my own channel. I suppose I can't be, can I? Nope, nothing there at the moment.
No, I got it.
So if anyone's there and has some chat, this is really professional. I can only apologise. But I'm not monetised, so I've said swearing is optional because I don't care. Today,
I've had you flash up with a new live ever, but I can't find it. So
I've got it.
You got it.
You have to go through a different way.
Karen's here.
Hello.
Welcome. So we're all in the house. That's lovely. I will attempt to get the chat up as we go, but people may have realised or may have experienced a little slowing, a little downturn in activity on eBay lately, and I think we're all feeling the pinch a bit. And it's a case of is it down to Good Till cancelled? Is it down to the summer? God, my friend, you can't see a damn thing. What's it feeling the pinch a bit? And it's how the hell are we going to manage? Oh, is somebody echoey?
No, sorry, it was me just getting the chat up. I've muted it now.
Oh, fab. So we have the divine Mrs. M. We have Caroline. We have Kelly. We have Karen.
Hello.
And we have Karen.
Hello.
And me, of course. Well, we're all known to everybody now, aren't we? I'm going to try and get the chat up as well. But, you know, it's a bit of a loose format today rather than a big list of questions. We've got this great yawning elephant in the room, which is what the bloody hell has happened to our sales lately. Some of us have had okay sales. Some of us have had absolutely bloody appalling times. I guess some of you out there have probably also had something in between. If you're doing fantastically well done. Interesting to hear from you, but yeah, we want to know, how can we stay positive? What the hell can we do to turn it round? All suggestions welcome. So, Caroline, how have you been finding this week? And have you had any change in what normally happens?
I always think June is sort of the start of the downturn for me for the summer, and this week hasn't been great. It hasn't been bad for me, I have to say. It's been sort of all right, but certainly not brilliant. But I have been working really hard to increase my listings, and I don't feel like I'm seeing the... Oh, God, sorry, I might have...
That was me.
Oh, it's you, was it?
Sorry.
Off now, I've lost my friend.
So sorry.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I feel like I've been putting in a lot of hard work for the last month, and I'm not really seeing the results of that. It's just, but maybe that's why it's not bad. It's just okay. So maybe I am seeing the results, but they're just not what I'd like them to be.
Yeah. So you've been working longer hours and really working hard, but it's not producing much of a upkick in sales for you.
Not yet, but I always think judge each day by the seeds that you sow, not the grass that you reap, or whatever they say. Ashley taught me that, my husband, and it's true, isn't it? You should be pleased with what you've done because it will mean future sales.
Yes, I think you have to keep going, don't you? No matter what, keep feeding the beast and keep listing. But I know it's a motivational thing, and I know some others amongst us have really struggled with that, and that's fine because thank goodness we're a supportive community. Karen, how have you been finding things?
Yeah, you don't even know me. Shocking. May was dire. June is proving, I didn't think possible, even worse. And it's been a real struggle. And this week, at the beginning of the week, I got to the point where I thought, you know what, I'm going to sell up the lot of it and I'm going to go and get a job because I can't be dealing with this. And I don't believe my listing quality has got any worse than what it was before. I don't believe what I'm sourcing is getting any worse than what I had before. And it wasn't as if it's gradually deteriorated. May, it's just like it's shut off. And I would say, if it wasn't for these bunch of ladies and also Mandy from She's Always Flipping, I don't think I'd be sane still. I really don't, because I think you do need a strong, close, supportive network that you can talk to about this. It's okay talking to your partners, but if your partners don't know what you know, don't do what you do, Cole could come home and tell me all about work. I wouldn't be over my head. Do you know what I mean? It's. I think you need to have someone that you know, so you can talk to. But yeah, I'll be honest, I was at the point of giving it all up because sales have been so slow, and I can't increase my inventory anymore. I've run out of room. And I'm on just over 1,100 listings. And if I'm getting 2 sales a day, that's a good day for me. So that's it, basically.
Yeah, so it's that feeling that someone's just kind of switched you off, that I know it's been a roller coaster, and we've talked a lot about that in previous weeks, of this sort of up and down and up and down. But if it's just flatlining, that's quite frightening, especially if people got bills to pay and, you know, really relying on the money here.
I mean, I'm doing 50% of what I was doing previously to that is roughly what I'm turning over. But what I would say is this year has been a very strange year, because the last 2 years that I've done it, or even before that, before I started reselling, I was always selling. I've been selling on eBay since 2012. And I've had a business account since 2012, and I was selling all the craft supplies. And every year, my PayPal graph, different amounts, but virtually follow the same trend. January used to be high, February used to be dire, March used to be okay, April better, and then June and July bottomed. June, July and August bottoms for me. They always have done. I think that's when people are paying off the remainders of holidays. They're going to get all the kids' school uniform. They've got the kids at home that they're spending a fortune on. They just haven't got the money, and I understand that. But this year, my graph has almost done a role reversal. January was dead. February was really good. And you just look at it and there's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't know what's happened this year. So,
do you have a best offer on, Karen?
Yeah.
Have you been getting any offers through?
I have capped them because I was pig sick of getting £1 offers on £20 items.
Yeah, I'm just trying to assess whether your listings are getting seen. That's what I mean. So, are you getting offers through so they're getting seen?
Not particularly, no. And my views are really down.
Yeah, Gemma Lou.
I used to be able to list something, and by the end of the, I mean, I've never had that high traffic, but by the end of the day, most items would have 20 views on them. I'm lucky if I'm getting 2. Oh, other than the odd item that may have a few more.
Sorry, Kelly.
I say you are just clothing, aren't you, Karen?
I have got some other bits, and I did take into account, because people said I'll try and diversify. When I went to the boot sale the other week, there was nothing else there. I mean, I came back with 3 items of clothing. When I'm going out sourcing, I'm looking, there's nothing else there to look for. So I can only source what I can get.
Yeah, it's just that Gemma Lou's saying she's mainly concentrated this year on clothing, and she's down 47% on last year.
That is a big drop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
The only other thing I would suggest, Karen, is have you thought about opening another account and running 2 accounts? Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at doing. What I'm trying to do this month, though, is I'm clearing a lot of my dead stock on auctions. As I've said, you know, I think in our chat, I'm called Karen E Auction Queen, because I'm running about 700 auctions this month. That's the plan, to run about 700 auctions to try and get rid as much as possible. And then I can then concentrate on building up another account, because what I'm planning on doing is 1 purely clothing, 1 everything else, or women's clothing, 1 everything else.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I need the space. I haven't got the space to do it at the moment, so I need to clear the inventory to get the space, which is why I'm not joining in that listing challenge. I'm just trying to clear down my inventory, because I'm not on a couple of 100 listings. You know, I'm on just over 1,000 listings, and I think I've got 200 scheduled to start. So it's not like I'm not on a lot of listings. So I just need to pare it down a bit.
Yeah. How are you finding things, Karen?
Well, the first 2 days of June, I had a good weekend. I sold 7 things, which is quite a lot for me. And I thought, oh, yay, you know, June's going to be better. And then I had no sales for nearly a week, and I was panicking. But I've been working a lot harder. I've been listing a lot more, thanks to Caroline doing the listing challenge. It sort of spurred me on. So I think I've listed about 50 items so far this month, which is a lot more than I normally do. So I have still been getting my 1 or 2 sales a day since then, but I have had to work harder to get those, my average sales, what I get. So
Yeah.
definitely slower.
Yeah, I think with the listing challenge, I mean, I didn't take part in it either because I'm up at about 1,400, and I've got one scheduled to go. So I'm obviously reaching that capacity in terms of my number of listings, and I'm not convinced it's worth me paying for individual listings on top of the 1,500. The way things are going, I would say possibly not. Although I've got some physical space now.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? You get to the stage where you're actually having to pay for more listings and you're seeing sales slow down. You think, God, I need to either get rid of stuff, but you can't increase your listings at that point because it's just not financially viable, is it?
That's right. Yeah, it is kind of difficult. We've got lots of people in the chat here who I haven't said hello to, so I'll do a very brief run through as we're at a natural pause. So hello, Gemma Lou, Mandy, of course, she's always flipping. Crispy's in, Melissa Coop. Kirsten Baxter is in, Anne Isaac's in, Bexify, hey, Kirsten's Curiosities, of course, in her lovely shop. Donna the Brummy's in, fantastic. Southwest Sellers, Shelley Joe, Tap Peddler, hey, yeah, Joan Morris, flipping fantastic find, she found us. Yes, I'm one of the smaller channels. We've got Richard Payne, L33 Mrs, KLC Reselling, Arlander. It's a new one on me. Welcome. We've got Richard Payne. Oh, I don't know why that's there, but I'm approving that comment from Tap Peddler there because that's fine. Zahir's in the house. Hello, Zahir. So yes, this is probably going to be more about clothes, Zahir, just to warn you.
Z's getting into his clothing now, isn't he?
He is. He just needs to go down the women's aisle.
Interesting how many people in the chat are saying that sales are bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a trend right now. It's not just us. I actually had quite a good day yesterday, but I've no idea why. I've had no sales again today, so well, there you go.
Yeah, I would say for me, I mean, I'm doing a lot of auctions. I keep harping back to them. Now you've got to remember, I buy a lot of my stock in bulk, so it owes me pennies. So I can afford to auction it off at $3.99. I mean, I've got over 800 bulk items here. I want to get that down to about 400. So I've got to clear half of this stock. It's already listed. I've already put the work in. I just want rid of that bit. But when I run the auctions, what I have noticed is my buy it now sales increase, other than when I run them at weekends. When I run auctions at weekends, it seems to have no effect on my buy on things being brought now. But during the week, I don't know whether it drives the traffic to my store. And I could find next week when they all finish that I have 0 sales other than the auctions. But I found that they have the last 3 times that I've done them not a weekend increase my buy it now sales as well.
And is that because lots of people actually have auctions that run on weekends? I know Sundays are popular ending day.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you know, it's all guesswork, isn't it? We're all just guessing at what works more.
Yes.
What works one day won't work the next. So.
Yeah, we get a theory, don't we? I mean, I've got no best offer on at the moment. I've got fairly long dispatch times, but I'm not doing any worse than I was last month when I had the other things on. It's just weird.
I think the danger is that with the community, although there's obviously the plus side of it as well, you know, and saying it's great to have other people to offload to, and obviously it is. But I think there's 2 dangers, and one is that you see other people do well, and that can be a real downer. So for me, I tend to switch off social media completely. I don't go on Instagram or anything when I'm having a really rough time with sales, because it makes me seeing other people although obviously you share your best sales and stuff on Instagram, you know, it just makes you feel like more of a failure. That's how it works for me. Other people might get more motivated by it, but it doesn't do that for me. And I think the other thing is that it's so easy to get into this spiral of overthinking it and going, what am I doing wrong? You know, perhaps I should do a sale, perhaps I should do promotion, perhaps I should add best offer to everything, perhaps I should do free postage. And I honestly don't think that any of that really makes that much of a difference. And I think we just send ourselves into this spiral of overthinking. I do it as well. I'm not saying that I don't do it. I do, but it's so easy to do that.
Yeah, and it's not just new people, you know, it's people, like I say, you've been doing this a long time, and Zahir said the same thing. They did 800 sales on their general store last week. It's this week, someone's flipped the switch and they've had about 80. So, and they're pretty experienced. So I think for anyone that's newish to this and is struggling, you've got to remember that we're all suffering, and it isn't about expertise or being particularly clever. It is simply seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment, maybe because they've revamped things, maybe because they've you know, the good till cancel thing is having a bit of a bite, and we don't quite know how that's sort of skewing things. Who knows?
Yeah.
Really gone.
Oh, Kelly's internet's probably gone down for a bit. She does this
dear.
quite often, and then she'll come back in.
Is there something to upset her?
She'll log back in again. It happens, I think.
Sorry about that. Monty could hear his friends playing outside and he was crying. He wanted to go and join them, but he can't.
Oh, oh dear.
But
Yeah.
so do you think it's the weather that's putting people off buying clothing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely in terms of all those floaty, long monsoon type dresses that I've got sitting collecting dust. Yes.
Me too, Heather. All those maxi dresses that I bought at the end of last summer, thinking every summer was going to be 30 degrees for 3 months, forevermore.
Didn't we all? Yes. Well, they will go, and I know all it's going to take is a couple of days of 25 degrees, and they're going to start flying out. This is what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment, it's jumping and coats.
I mean, there's people in here putting their listing numbers. Like Chris put down that he's only on 300 and he wants to stick at that. Richard, his listings are around 600. And I think it depends on what you sell. I personally, for me, think I do need at least 1,000 listings to make anywhere near a full-time income on the items that I sell.
Yes, I agree.
That's me personally. And there are stores out there that probably make a full-time income on 10, 15 listings if they're all brand new iPhones. And, you know, it depends on what you sell and what your profit margins are and how much and what your expenses are as to how much you need to have listed.
And also our stuff is not multi-listings. Pretty much everything I've got is a one-off. So I haven't got listings with whole bulk of inventory behind it. Everything's a one-off.
Yeah, I haven't got one single multi-listed on my store. Mine's all one-off. I just haven't. I've never brought. I just like buying the one-offs, to be honest.
I have a few left over from the British Home Stores haul, but maybe like 4 left now.
Yeah. Did eBay have problems this week? Yes, they did.
Ooh.
And it's still very glitchy. I don't know about for you guys. I've still got drafts sitting in there that I've listed and they've gone live and they're still showing as a draft. And they won't let me delete it. It's just sitting there. Now, back, Kelly.
That was hard work.
Back in the room.
Yeah, they did go off for a bit. It was only a couple of hours, wasn't it? But it was the sheer panic. Was it even 2 hours?
What, the
It was
eBay
long
went
enough
down?
for me.
Yeah.
It was glitchy all morning, wasn't it? They said it was back up by 8:30, but it wasn't properly.
It was all day for me. It's very slow at loading. And I think as a consumer, I wouldn't want to shop on it because I'd be, I can't bother this to upload.
Yeah, I'm like that on any shopping site I go on. If I can't see everything instantly, it just bores me, so I go somewhere else.
Yeah. But, you know, it was back up and running, so I don't have to think about giving any refunds or anything for our shop subscriptions.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, yeah.
My husband did make a good point last night. I was talking to him about everybody's getting slow sales. And he said, well, surely if everyone's getting slow sales and people are selling stuff for cheaper than they normally would just to get a sale, surely eBay are losing money as well. So isn't it in their interest to do something about it and maybe overturn this good till cancelled thing and maybe let you do 30-day listings again? But I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think their idea of doing something about it is putting the free returns advert all over the telly.
Oh, yeah. That and free postage advert as well. They both annoy me.
Yeah, I think if you look at what, you know, looking at cold facts, looking at the majority of what's on eBay is brand new items, which you assume are multiple quantities good till cancelled is great for them.
Mm.
It could just be set markets, as in the second-hand market, where you've only got the one that is suffering at the moment. And if they're still making more money and more money from these other ones, to be honest, they're not going to care, are they? You know.
Oh. Yeah, well, they're making good money.
I would genuinely love to see eBay's overall sales graph and see how much it dips in May. June. I'd love to see that. I mean, obviously, I know it depends on what is listed and how much is listed for and all that stuff, but I think they're probably losing business to Depop, particularly on
Yeah, I keep thinking about going on to Depop.
You'd hate it, Karen. I can't bear it. I'm too old and grumpy, you can say.
But do you know what also is, I think we've all only got finite hours in the day, and I don't want to work 24/7, 7 days a week. You know, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't work weekends. I might go to a jumble sale and a boot sale, but I don't work weekends. And I work butt off most of the time during the week so that I don't have to. And if you're going to give over, say, even 4 of your hours a week onto a different platform, you're taking it away from the other one. And also, there's still only so many people in the population that are going to be searching online for secondhand clothing.
Yeah, I don't particularly think that what I sell would go well on Depop. I think probably the same with Heather. I don't think it's Depop type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
You've
really
got to do enough to model it as well, and this ain't happening.
If it's not black, I'm not modelling it.
I hope Poshmark comes to the UK soon, because I think that would be a real viable alternative to eBay for us.
I'm so envious of those Americans and their flipping Poshmark. Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean, Karen, about doing taking away from one. I was doing Etsy and I was really giving Etsy a good go, but it was time consuming, listing everything and copying everything over, and then when something sold, have I removed it from the other platform, and it was all just a pain in the ass, so I gave up with it in the end.
I found Etsy very, very slow. I done Etsy for 6 months when I was doing the craft supplies, and I found it so slow. There was not the traffic that you get on eBay, and my main business was on Facebook. It wasn't even on eBay. But
a lot of Etsy is the American market as well, isn't it? A lot of it, the audience.
Yeah.
Ross asked a question, sorry, just up the chat a little bit, which was quite interesting. I can't find it now. I can't move my things. My laptop's so precariously balanced that the whole thing will collapse if I go back up. It was about whether we'd stop selling clothing and buy bigger, more difficult stuff to pack instead.
Yeah, that's George, isn't it, asking that question?
Room. No.
You never got round to me. My sales have actually been improving every month since January. So I'm doing okay. I'm quite pleased with how things are going. I mean, I do have the odd day. It's a bit rubbish. But in answer to George's question, I have started selling non-clothing. So I'm kind of in 3 different niches at the minute, and that's working.
Do you think that's also, Kelly, because I know last year you was quite ill, wasn't you?
Yeah, I've seen an improvement in my health, and that's made me better at listing. And I mean, you've seen me today. I've got loads more energy to do things. So yeah, it is a general all round better for me than it was last year.
Yeah.
But I have, like I say, with George asking that question, I have seen quite a few non-clothing sales, which is. Otherwise, days would be a no sale day for clothing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I said I've been looking for non-clothing. It's just finding it. I just cannot find anything around here that I've got to have an interest in it. I'm not going to start selling electronics. I'm really sorry. Or I might as well just go out and get a 9 to 5 because they bore the heck out of me. Sorry, men that like your electronics, but they do. They absolutely bore the heck out of me, and I couldn't even think about listing them. But I do like the quirky. I like the old 70s, 80s kind of vibe stuff, stuff that I remember from my childhood, like really niche decorations and things like that. But it's finding them. And the jumble sales are kind of dried up at the moment. I've got one this weekend, which I might go to, and they're where you normally find the real grandma shelf stuff. So I call it. All right, who's showing off now?
Can I just answer Anne? On the same account, Anne, it's all on the same account.
Yeah.
I don't have separate accounts for different items.
Sorry, Kelly, come on.
I was also going to say, I mean, I still don't consider myself a clothing seller because I'm not into clothing. But at the time when I became an eBay seller, I couldn't find the things that I like to buy and sell. So I turned to clothing, and it's stuck. And I'm learning. It's not something that I've got a natural interest in, but it's quite readily available, isn't it? So that does subsidise my shop. Clothing does, definitely.
Mm.
I think that's the thing with clothing. It's so easy to pick up, isn't it? So easy to find. You go into a charity shop and you're just surrounded by it.
Mm.
So it is, from that point of view. I do sell stuff other than clothing. I do it on a separate account. And I always have done, really. I was more of a general seller before I was a clothing seller, but I hate packaging. I hate it. Hate it. So, yeah, clothing, shove it in a poly mailer. That's my
that is one thing I love about clothing. I find it easy to package. You just whack it in the bag and it's off, insert. So
that's part of it for me as well, you know, because I mean, like everyone says, you know, you need to value your time, etc., etc., etc. Now, I could go and find like a nice dinner service for like say £5–10. I could sell it for £30 and packaging, but I've still got to package it, and the time it would take me to package it. It's just I just don't see the worth in it.
Yeah.
I'm a lazy Mary, and if I can get away with just shoving it in a poly bag, I will. Don't think you can do that with dinner service.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same with clothes. That I used to, you know, I clothes I picked up because in order to get the volume of sales that I needed to be able to find things easily enough, that's how I ended up really doing clothes. But I still do sell what I call bric-a-brac, really, bits of pottery and weird and wonderful things that I pick up, and I do love doing that. But my knowledge is clothes in a way are quite easy to learn about, whereas sort of, I don't know, studio pottery or mid-century modern is a bit more tricky. But yeah, I want to broaden out, and I actually have everything on the same account. I've just got one account for everything at the moment.
So Caroline, having the two accounts, have you noticed when the sales are slowing down on your clothing that they're okay on the other account if it's not all clothing, or not really?
Sometimes I feel like one account will save the other if I'm having a bad day on one. Yeah. The worst thing about it is logging in and out of two different accounts. It's a real pain in the ass. But it all feeds into one PayPal account, so that's quite easy. But
why don't you do what I do, Caroline?
Sorry,
I've got two browsers. So on my PC, I've got Chrome and I've just got Internet Explorer, and I have both my eBays open at once when I'm doing my parcels. If I've sold on both.
Oh God, I'd have a nightmare. I can't that's three on one account, let alone two at once. People have been getting all sorts of random things. Buy a box of hair rollers and get some jeans or something.
Yeah, it can make it complicated, and I think that's the thing, is managing it and making sure everything's organised. I struggle as it is, so. Oh dear.
I do, to answer Karen properly, I do feel like it's quite not. I feel like I'm spreading my risk more over two accounts, and that's probably only inside my head. But psychologically, I like the fact that one day, if I feel one account's doing badly, I can list on that one. If I feel like the other one needs more, you know, it feels almost like having two businesses. Weirdly, I can't explain why, but it just does.
So if you looked at your sales on both, they're not both following the same trend, if that makes sense. So if your sales are going up and down like this, they're not going up and down like this on both accounts a lot.
All things aren't equal, because I sell less non-clothing than clothing. Yes. So one account is making more than the other one.
Yeah.
Apart from the old clothing that has been before I separated the two accounts. But my PayPal graph is doing pretty much the same as everybody else's. You know, it was great till April and then dropped down for May, and now I'm doing worse than I was this time last year. So
have any of you tried the ending your listings and selling similar? I know that seems to be a popular choice at the moment. I know Shelley's tried it, but don't think she's seen any results yet. But somebody else in the chat said they'd tried it and it was working for them.
Yeah, I've done it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it makes a difference, Caroline?
Bugger all.
No?
Yeah, absolutely bugger all. I only did 40 last weekend, but yeah, nothing sold, I don't think.
Yeah, I've done a few, but I went over to Good Till Cancelled a month before we had to, because, you know, control issues. Karen couldn't have them telling me when I had to go over, so I had to go over. So at the moment, I've got stuff that's nearly 3 months old sitting on my eBay account that's not sold. It may have watchers, but I don't think the watchers mean anything once it gets to that point. You know, if anything, I think it probably goes against you on eBay's algorithm. I could be talking about my backside, but I think it goes against you, because the way eBay would look at it, it's an old listing, it's got watchers, why isn't it saying there's something wrong with that listing? Push it down.
Interesting thought. Yeah.
Craigslist Hunter done a video about it, didn't he? I watched it about Harry noticed about Good Till Cancelled and Harry's sales started to dip. But
I think the problem also is if everybody starts doing the same thing, then that also means that it might have been effective when a few people were doing it, but it suddenly becomes less advantageous, if you like, if everyone suddenly starts doing something. Just a thought.
And I think it depends on what you sell as well. You know, if you're, I mean, I know a lot of your stuff, Heather, there's not hundreds of them on eBay. You know, you do a lot of higher end stuff, which means there's less of it. So I think yours could sit on there for a year, Good Till Cancelled, and it will sell when it sells.
Yeah, I have to wait sometimes. It's the right person has got to come along with that taste, with that size. Yeah.
So I think there's too many factors. I don't think there's one answer fits all.
I think there's so much going on with eBay and outside of eBay, just in the world in general, that it's all come together at the same sort of time and it's having a massive impact. So, I mean, the weather is plays into it this week, doesn't it? I mean, it's been absolutely rubbish, hasn't it? We've all got our summer dresses listed and they're going to be listed for a while yet.
Snorkel and flippers, I think, are probably more.
All the bathers, they're all still there. Do you call them bathers or do you call them swimming suits?
But when sales are bad and the weather's crap, I mean, that's just rubbish, isn't it? It's not been a good week.
Not like you can go sit in the garden.
Exactly.
But that's the thing, my garden looks beautiful and my lawn needs mowing, but it's far too wet and I can't go out and enjoy the garden because it's just miserable.
Yeah, but I think that impacts on your mood as well this week, because I haven't been out in the garden, I haven't been out for no walks, it's been absolutely chucking it down every day. It's dry at the moment.
Yeah, and it does affect your energy levels, and I think this is the biggest problem, is when you have a sort of rubbish time with eBay, you then feel less inclined to put the energy into it. So the whole thing can end up becoming a little bit circular, especially I think if you're newer to it or, you know, you're not used to the vagaries of eBay. You can think that you must be doing something terribly wrong, where in actual fact it's just you've not got the energy going in.
I sound really old, but when the weather's like this, it really affects my arthritis as well. So,
Oh my God,
I'm the same.
my knee's been bloody awful this week.
Oh dear, what are we like?
We're a whole bundle of laughs, aren't we, today?
But no, I would say if you do what you do, I wouldn't say necessarily throw yourself into the community, because I do think in some areas of the community, I'm not going to say where, in some areas of the community, it can be very willy waving, very look at these figures that I've done, I'm doing really amazing. And if you're new to it, you can look at it and feel soul destroyed, because, you know, I mean, I still remember the day when I got my first £1,000 60-day total, and I was over the blinking moon. And at the point of me getting it, there was others in some groups that were saying they're doing £50,000 60-day total, but I got my grand. And I think, but if you can get yourself in some parts of the community and get a close group of people together that you can talk to, because no doubt, if you get say if you've got a group of like 8 people, one of you is not going to be having a bad day. One of you is at least going to have had sales that day. So we know eBay's not broken, and they will pick you back up. You know.
Yeah, it is important, and certainly over the last sort of 18 months or so I've gotten to know you lot, it's made a heck of a difference, because you can only moan at your partner so much before they think, oh God, she's on one again. Yeah. Whereas I can moan at you lot, it's easy.
I don't take moaning very well. Barry starts moaning to me, I say, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shut up, don't want to hear it. I don't want people moaning all the time. And I've got to say, I have found that difficult the last couple of weeks, because everywhere I've been going, it's negative vibes, negative vibes, negative vibes. And that's what does me, is negativity. And normally I'll take myself out of the situation, but it just seems to be everywhere at the minute. So I'm struggling with that. So.
And it does affect you generally, because it's almost like it's in the atmosphere and you kind of pick it up as you go.
Yeah.
I think at the moment there's a great deal of unsettlement, and that's making people feel unsafe and creating all that negativity.
So Anne wants to know what you do about it. What can you do to pick yourself up? Well, Anne, I've been dancing this morning. me and Caroline's been rocking out to some YouTube songs.
Lola.
I just try and bring myself up. If I feel myself going down, I do something that I like to enjoy. I might watch a film, I might read a book or a magazine or something. I just take myself out of the situation and try and put myself in a more positive one, even if it's just for an hour.
Yeah, get outside, go for a walk.
With an umbrella.
Yeah, definitely with an umbrella and some boots on. I went back into boots this week.
And the thing is, what you've got to look at it is, when you put all the work in, if you ever get to the stage where you can't list anymore, either you've run out of stock and there's no money because the money's not coming in, or you've run out of room to put it, because some people do get to the point where they've got no more money to reinvest in it at the time. I think then what you've got to do is somehow just keep going into your head and saying, look, I've done all that I can do. I can't make people buy. And I think that's part of my issues, is I have control issues, and
download Things Can Only Get Better. That song, Things Can Only Get Better. Stand and just do that.
I think you have to remember, you've done the work. That is it.
Yeah. So like you, Karen, you couldn't do any. We all know that you do so much for your business, and you couldn't do any more. So you've been decluttering at home, haven't you? You've been doing things around the house and different things. Getting that done instead.
Trying.
Well, that's a positive, isn't it? That's something positive to do.
Yeah. Only because I go stir crazy. I could never be one of these kept women that done nothing. I think it would drive me insane.
Like Lex has caught up with her accounts, hasn't she? So there's different parts of your business you can work on. It's not all about sales.
No.
Decluttering makes me feel so happy. There's nothing better than throwing 10 things away.
Yeah, I threw away 2 black sacks the other day.
So nice, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got it. Everyone's got one of these. You know, one of them storage cupboards in your house that you just kind of, everything gets dumped in it. We've got 10 years of stuff that's just been dumped in it.
You might have some treasure to sell.
Yeah, I have pulled out some stuff to sell. Well, I'm going to go for it. It's loads of the kids' old games and all that. So a lot of them will probably just get donated to the charity shop. But I know one of them's probably, well, no, 2 of them have got some value to them.
Send them to Carla. She loves counting up all the little bits of games.
I haven't got like a hotel for her, I'm afraid. We haven't got them.
Ooh. Yeah, she's not very chuffed with eBay either at the moment, I can tell you.
No.
She is really funny when she goes on one, though, Carla. She's so funny.
Oh, bless her.
But yeah, we have to send sprinkles her way. Yeah.
So there's nothing we can do about it. I don't believe that, any of us, we've not been doing this a month or 2. We've not been doing this 2 months, had one really good month and then one bad month. It's not been like that. We've been doing this for quite a while. And I don't think suddenly our listings have got that rubbish that they're not good enough to sell.
No,
You know,
it's
we
not
all have different standards of listing. I'm not going to say I'm anywhere near a higher standard of listing, but it's always been good enough to get sales. So, but then Lex is having a really good week as well, isn't she? So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
all, Lex is doing amazing. She's smashing it at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah, it really is that random, isn't it? And the eye of eBay kind of shines upon you for 5 minutes. Yeah. Needs to come back around again though for you guys, most definitely.
Louise has just made a really good point as well in the chat, saying that when she gets a bit low, she looks at the positive feedback she's received. And I think that is a really good thing to do, because you forget about all your good sales. You just look down the first couple of pages, you think, oh God, yeah, that was only a couple of weeks ago I sold that. You see, we do forget very quickly after a couple of rough days that we did have an okay weekend last weekend, or we sold that nice thing 2 weeks ago or whatever. And it's kind of nice to remind ourselves of that we're not that.
Get a bit of perspective, I think. And Lex has just said she's having a 0 sale day today. So hi Lex.
But don't you like it as well? You know, when you talk about going through positive feedback, when you get a positive feedback that it's not just a generic great thanks. You know, it's one they've actually catered to what you've sent them. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, okay.
So do any of you have any tips to keep yourself positive then with regard to your business?
Yeah, vodka.
What was that, Caroline?
Vodka.
Gin.
Gin.
I think if you've gone past that first year of reselling, you'll know it goes up and down like yo-yo. And I don't know about you guys, it's very easy to forget the downtimes after you've had a few good months. You think, that's it, I've cracked this.
Yeah,
I know what I'm doing now. Yeah. Right. And I think that once you get past that first year, as I'm saying, my graph's completely different this year, but you can see you're going to get them spikes, and it's not that you are doing anything wrong. You've just got to keep going. Just keep persevering. And if you need to, just rein in the pennies, rein in how much you're spending on stock. Like I said last week, I've now started, I'm only spending 10% of what I'm making on stock, which is more than enough to replenish.
So with that in mind, then, if you can see these downtimes coming, and I think it was Caroline said she tends to see slowdown in sales at the beginning of June, was it, or July? Did you say, Caroline?
Yeah, June is usually when it really.
Yeah. So if you know that's coming, do you make any provisions for that? Do you put money aside, extra money aside, or different types of stock? Anybody?
Oh. I don't live off my everybody's business is going to be different, isn't it? But I was thinking about this before we started, actually. And for me, I have other income. So what I make on reselling, I don't live off to pay my bills. So I don't make any provision particularly. But if you're paying your bills from reselling, then you'd need to. Yeah. Because obviously, and you also have to think about the summer, for most of us, being quite an important time to source, because all the car boots are going, aren't there? And that's the time when you can get the best price stock, generally speaking. So yeah, you would have to make provision for that. I've got because I've been reselling full time 4 years now, and I put savings into it, and then as I've built up my reselling money, I have quite a big pot to spend. So if a big deal came up, I would have the money there to buy it now. So.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent with that.
No, it's great. Anybody else think about those sort of things, or do you just go with the flow?
I put a certain amount of money by it. Well, I've got a certain amount of money put by. I'm not putting any money by at the moment, but I do have a little bit put by for it. And I have a very big credit card, which if I need to use it, I can use that. Because now I do have to pay some of the bills.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to go and start putting them all on my credit card. I don't, but I've had 2 months worth of money put by, so that's slowly getting eked away at. And I will, when my sales increase, I will increase how much I'm keeping by.
Yeah, I also keep some by as well, because I kind of think if an opportunity came up, I'd want to know I could get the money there and then. So yeah, and I always keep a cushion, because like you say, it's always literally a rainy day at the moment, isn't it? So yeah, when it's very, very good, you think, but let's balance it out.
Yeah. And my PayPal working capital should be paid off in 3 weeks. So yay, no more 25% to them. I'm not anti them. I'm glad I did it. And this is my third one. It's just I'd never do one at 25% again. It was too much for me. So
yeah, that's a big old chunk, isn't it?
yeah. The last 2 I had were 10% and I barely noticed it was going. There's a big difference. So, but yeah, I do have a little bit. What about you, Kelly? I know you don't cost for the bills, but day-to-day living, do you keep some stuff by just in case?
Well, I do have my own bills that I pay, and a few household bills, but Barry does pay the majority of like the rent and that sort of thing. I mean, I don't spend a lot on my stock anyway, so I don't have to keep a massive amount to one side for stock, because I source from car boots. I'm reluctant to source from charity shops because I find them expensive, and I'm finding my stuff at the car boot, so I'm lucky in that aspect. But yeah, I have got a little pot set aside. Should like Caroline say, anything come up and I need like a couple of £100, I can get my hands on it. So yeah, I think it's a good point for anyone who is starting out, beginning the business, is to bear that in mind, because like you say, we might have the summer slowdown, but it also a big time for building up your stock for the winter from car boots. So it's a double whammy, isn't it? Because you're not getting the money coming in, but you might have more money going out at this time of the year.
Yeah.
I would say also I've started putting money by now for, well, if they improve, for next year for tax, because this year I was under the tax bracket just. So, but next year I don't think I'm going to be. So I have started every month, a certain percentage of my profit is going straight into an account I can't access for 60 days.
Yeah, very important, because actually the first year that you do go above that tax threshold, they basically charge you twice. So
yeah,
that was what has happened to me this year. But then the summer sort of slowdown, if you like, I am going to use it, because I think it's a good time for anybody who doesn't have a good inventory system and SKU numbers and all that to do it. As I'm finding out, it takes a hell of a lot longer than you'd think. And also to look at your storage needs and questions, because it's a good time to start thinking about how am I going to store stuff in the winter to come, especially if you're buying up a lot.
When William was little, I would stop selling completely for the whole summer holidays and just build my stock back up, because we used to go to boot sales together and stuff through the week, and I turned everything off because sales were always so bad in the summer anyway. I was only doing it part-time, then I had a job as well, and yeah, that worked really well for me. Just build up my stock through the summer, and when he went back to school in September, I would start listing it all.
I do find September is normally quite good for me. So
yeah,
you find that's when things start picking up again, September, after the summer holidays.
Yeah, October and January are always my best months.
Yeah.
Not long to wait then.
Yeah. December I didn't do too bad in, but I put it down to the fact that I was growing my the financial amount I was holding in my stock. I was growing that, so I put it all down to that, and then I thought, January, I can't wait for January. This is going to be epic, and then January just attacked. So
that's the thing, isn't it? You cannot be sure.
No, you can never guarantee. You can't. You don't know who is looking for what and when. You know, you can't make people buy your stuff.
That's there.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Maximus Verbal.
Maximus Verbal. Oh, look at those white whiskers.
They're very big. We always say he's all fluff and no substance, because he's mostly fluff.
We got cat there earlier, Karen. I'm sure I saw a tail walk past you.
Yes, that's Daisy, the eBay cat. The one that's always meowing in the videos. That's Daisy. Yeah. Snoring under the sofa. She's now on the windowsill sunbathing herself.
Can I just take this opportunity to thank everybody in the chat, because they really do get involved with the topics. I've noticed. I always try and read the chat, but it's hard to read and listen to what everything's going on. And they've got loads and loads of people that are giving ideas and what they do and different things that they try. So we appreciate you all joining in.
Yes, I'll have to go back and read it all properly afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I normally do. I go back and have a look, because I can't keep track of it all. But
Gemma's going on about it's hard to pay herself, which is the whole point of a business. I think that's onto a follow-up conversation.
I'm going to start doing that because I don't do that. I just transfer so much every month into my bank account, but I don't really pay myself. That bank account I use just for buying stock. So I said to my husband, I'm going to start putting some, paying myself and putting some towards the bills as well, because I said, now that I'm doing a bit better, I should really put a percentage in to help with the bills because he pays all the bills. And also we've got an ISA, so we put money in every month in an ISA for Christmas to pay for Christmas as well. So
yeah,
I think the thing to bear in mind is when you're starting out, most small businesses don't even make a profit.
yeah.
Oh, Kelly's frozen. Oh, Kelly's gone. She's about to fill us with her pearls of wisdom then.
That's what I told my husband. I said, for the first 2 years, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you any money.
Oh, she's back again. You're back again, Kelly. You're back in the room.
I just had a right rant to myself and I've completely frozen.
Come on, do it again for us.
We had for 2 years.
I was just saying that when you've got a small business, if you are making a small profit, even if you have to put it back into your business, that's quite normal for a small business. A lot of them don't make profit when they first start out.
Yeah.
So if you're making any profit at all when you first started, then that's a positive.
Yeah, my tax return last year, it was minus something because I'd spent so much money on my storage, stock.
Yeah.
So it was minus.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's where you've got to keep your eye on your figures, isn't it? Because you can spend a lot more than you're taking to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how many businesses in the world are there that you can start up with a minimal investment and start making money fairly quickly? But still, you've got to look at least 3 years to really, I think, to really get established, 2 to 3 years. To sort of learn it, to know what you're doing, to learn from your mistakes, to kind of see if it really is for you, because it's not for everybody. This is not an easy way to make a living. It's bloody hard work.
Yeah.
Just going back to your point, Heather, that you touched on briefly about tax, and the first year you do start making a profit and they take it off you twice effectively. You should make another payment halfway through the year. It's really important to hold the money back for that. So if you're in that position, I can't recommend highly enough that you do save your money for that, because it's not an easy year, that one, is it?
No, next year will be a lot easier, but I'm pleased that I'm growing and I'm pleased that I'm earning enough to be able to contribute. But I swore like a trooper when I saw them.
Yeah, me too.
Do they base that on your profit? Do they base that bill on your profit?
Yeah, last year, and not 18-19, I think this was 17-18. I reckoned I owed about 2,000 in tax, which is actually what you would do for the year. But in fact, they're taking about 4,000. So they are literally taking double.
Right.
Because they take it in advance now, halfway through the year, ready for next year. But it doesn't matter if you actually earn it or not. I mean, you will get it back eventually, even if you don't. But it's a bit cheeky, isn't it, paying it in advance? I don't go to Tesco and on Monday and say, "Here you are, I'm paying you for my shopping for next Saturday."
So you can get it back if you don't end up having to pay that much, because that does worry me, because if my illness gets worse, I might not earn as much.
Yeah, you get a tax rebate.
You get your rebate. Do they take that in one? Do they expect it in one lump sum, or are you able to pay it over a set period?
Once in January and once in July.
So I think it depends when you do your tax return. I mean, normally when I forget to submit it, I do my tax return about May, June time. So then, because before, when I've had to pay national insurance, etc. I'll get the bill then, but it isn't due till the January at the time when everyone else is busy doing their tax returns for the previous year. So the earlier you are doing it, the more prepared you can be for this big bill you're going to get as well.
It's on my June goals to make a start on my tax return, so I really should do it.
Yeah, it's good to be prepared. It is good to be prepared. And I think once you've gotten over the shock of it and you realise you're actually into earning some money, then you can think, okay, well, next year I'm not going to lose so much. So, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
And like you say, Heather, it's nice to be contributing, isn't it? You feel like you can have a say then. Nobody will listen, but you can have a moan.
Oh, I could rant till the cows come home. I could run up and down the street, button down naked, shouting my head off, and no one would listen.
Yeah.
They might look, though.
Oh, yeah. Christine's saying Sam set up a direct debit for tax. I'm assuming that's like a standing order going into a bank. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I've got a high interest savings account, high interest as I get, which is one which you can't touch for 6 days. You have to give 6-day notice to get it out, and then at the end of the month, I transfer a certain percentage of my profit straight over to that, which is then for tax.
Has anyone got a Leicester?
Yeah, somewhere.
Because you can't. After your 40th birthday, you can't open one. So I was thinking about seeing if I can get a Leicester as well, because I'm 40 in November. So
ISA.
I'm going to go. No, a lifetime ISA.
No.
And it can help towards your pension. So I'm thinking about getting one of those.
I'm relying on cold pension.
Oh, we're talking pensions and taxes, ladies. Pensions and taxes.
Isn't it?
It's Friday.
Oh dear.
All right, I'll be dead before I'm pensionable age anyway. So there you go.
There's a positive
Oh, to the audience, I am so sorry for the turn the conversation has taken.
A nice uplifting live chat on a Friday lunchtime about pensions and being dead.
Yeah, we need Jim. We need Jim.
I like Lex's idea. Let's all get drunk.
I'm going in 3 hours to get drunk.
Maybe later. Maybe later. Oh dear. Oh gosh, we've been going for an hour. Blimey. I think we've covered quite a wide ground there. I suspect this subject's going to keep rolling around because as the summer slows down to its inevitable demise, we're all going to be feeling it a bit. I've got a garage to go and sort out, so I've got lots of bags, IKEA bags to take up there. And I'm waiting for a possible parcel coming from Switzerland.
Oh, yes.
Yes, well, possibly anyway. It's a relative who is keen to get rid of some rather nice stuff. It's all right, Cat. Standing in the corner, meowing, looking at nothing. Do we have a ghost? Do we have a present? No.
Happy birthday, Anne.
Yes, happy birthday.
Sam's birthday today.
Oh. Oh dear. So we've all had a lovely time talking the arms and legs off. The cat looks like it's about to have an absolute fit. So I think I'm going to have to wrap this up. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to Caroline. Thank you to Kelly. Thank you to Karen. Thank you to Corinne. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.